Hello lovely brides and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren, wedding planner and owner of Bluebird Creative. I provide a weekly dose of wedding planning goodness for the modern bride so you can plan your own wedding with style. And this week I am giving you my 5 tips to help save money on your wedding flowers. We're going to get a little bit savvy and we're going to help you budget the flowers that you really want for your wedding, but that actually fit within the budget that you've got. So let's dive in. So every bride has a budget and every bride also has different priorities for their wedding day. Now, my brides tend to be those that love flowers just as much as I do. Real flowers for your wedding day. There's nothing like the look and the smell of real flowers. Now, if that's like you and you really want to have flowers everywhere or just a really amazing, beautiful vibe from your flowers, but you might not have the budget to match what you're wanting to create. So here's these 5 tips which are going to help you make it a little bit more manageable and just make you think outside the box a little bit more with the types of flowers and the style that you're bringing to your wedding day. I'd like to thank Kate Avery Flowers, who is a wonderful friend of mine in the wedding industry, and she has put forward some of these tips today so that we can bring them to you guys and help you. So let's jump into tip 1, which is time of year. So time of year is really key because if you decide to get married around Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas, you are going to be paying a premium for your wedding flowers. Wedding flowers, or flowers in general, go to auction. They're usually coming over from Holland and they go to auction. At those times of years, they are hiked up in price. That price then gets put onto the florist, which inevitably gets put onto you. So if you don't want to be paying a premium for your flowers, do not get married at those times of year. Really think about the time of year that you're getting married. Try not to book it around particular holidays where flowers are key. So my second tip is thinking seasonal. Now, I don't mean in terms of events like tip 1, but what I do mean is using seasonal flowers. So for example, if you are set on having peonies for your wedding, but you're getting married in September, don't have peonies for your wedding. First of all, you're going to find it hard to get peonies for your wedding. And if a florist tells you that they can get you peonies for your wedding in September, then you're going to be paying through the nose for them because they're going to be getting them in. They're going to be at an absolute hiked up price. It's not worth it. My best piece of advice here is to decide on your colour palette. Decide on the aesthetic and style that you like your flowers to be. Then speak to your florist. Don't be too fussy about the actual flowers that you're having. As long as you know the aesthetic and the colour palette and that your florist completely understands the look that you're going for, they can then pull in the flowers that are in season without paying a really silly price that's unnecessary and that doesn't necessarily match up with your budget. So again, it's speaking to an experienced florist that can really feel and understand the vibe that you're after, and then they can pull in the seasonal products that actually fit within that budget. Okay, so my third tip is repurpose. This is king, if you ask me, on saving money with your wedding flowers. Flowers are beautiful. They do not last forever and they can cost a fair bit of money or a larger sum of your wedding budget. So if you are having ceremony flowers, repurpose them. Do not leave them in the ceremony and have separate flowers for your wedding reception. That is such a waste of such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Repurpose them. So if you're having pew ends, then decide where they're going to go in your wedding reception. If you are having aisle runners, like beautiful aisle runners that looks like a garden running down the aisle, they're absolutely gorgeous and one of my favourite elements when it comes to floral design. And they look like they're growing up the side of the aisle. Repurpose them. Use them in your wedding reception, whether that's running along the front of a trestle table or on the ends of trestle tables, so it really gives some real beautiful garden vibes. Repurpose them wherever you can. If you're having a floral arch at the entrance to your wedding ceremony, have your florists remove it, take it down and repurpose it. They probably won't be able to put it together as a floral arch again, but they will be able to repurpose parts of that arch. Speak to your florists. They will be able to work with you on the day, and a lot of florists will advise you to repurpose your flowers. Another thing is using the bridal bouquets. After the ceremony, they usually get left on a table and forgotten about. Use them as centerpieces. These are really, really key factors on saving money and still being able to have a fairly abundant floral wedding. So my fourth tip is arrangements versus stems. Now, just bear with me here. I don't mean just having a single stem in your table arrangement, because I think people are going to be able to tell that you've cut back on your flower budget. It doesn't really give quite the same impact and style as an arrangement. However, having a large arrangement can end up being more expensive than having a few bud vases dotted around the table. Now, a bud vase is a small glass bottle or small vase just containing a couple of single stems. So it may have 3 stems, 2 stems in it, and having a few of them dotted around the table can create a really beautiful, delicate and laid back vibe and be much more cost effective than having a larger arrangement. You can also fill it out with some beautiful candle votives and some larger candle holders as well, which can create pops of colour, a nice atmosphere, and again, it's cost effective and budget friendly. Another way of using the arrangement versus stem is actually with the bridesmaids bouquets. This is somewhere where if you've got quite a few bridesmaids, costs can really add up. You know, you can be paying up to £75 for a bridesmaid bouquet, if not more, depending on what you're going for. And again, they just get left on tables and forgotten about, and it is such a shame. So why not think about having a single stem? You could have a single stem hydrangea, which is really big and full, and they can come in sometimes at about £7 a stem, and you can have those with just a beautiful piece of ribbon just tied around them, or a big billowy open peony could be the bridesmaids bouquets, again with a ribbon, or even a small posy of just plain astilbe, which I am a fan of because that's what my bridesmaids had, because it was beautiful and soft and budget friendly. So just think about those options as opposed to having like a smaller version of the bridal bouquet, because it can still look just as beautiful and it fits in with the cost, but you're not compromising on style. It's still beautiful and elegant and romantic, or whatever your style is for your wedding. And my fifth and final tip for today is plants and botanicals. Now, this is still a massive trend. It started creeping in about 2018, I believe, when greenery was Pantone's colour of the year. And it's kind of developed into a botanical vibe where there's foliage and plants, and it's come into home interiors and everything, and it looks absolutely fantastic at weddings and can be amazingly cost effective. So by having plants, for example ferns, potted rosemary, potted lavender, they take up quite a large space and they're not as expensive as creating full bouquets. They're also fantastic for repurposing because they're really easy to just pick up and move. And not only that, and another reason why I absolutely love this idea is because they can be used for favours and gifts. You can easily give them to your parents at the end of the wedding to say thank you, to any friends that you want to thank, or you can have lots of small pots of lavender, rosemary, herbs, or whatever it is that you've decided to choose, and they can be sent home as favours. So they can actually have multiple purposes, which I think is amazing because I hate the idea of anything going to waste at your wedding, in particular flowers, especially when you've spent a fair sum of money on them and then they're just left. So there you are, guys. Those are my 5 tips for saving money on your wedding flowers, being a little bit savvy, but not cutting on style and impact. I also just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to you guys. This channel is growing and it makes me feel so warm, and it really lights me up, because there are times when you think, I'm putting this out, is anybody seeing it? Is it impacting anyone? Am I helping anyone? Because at the end of the day, the reason I am doing this is to help you guys with your weddings. And I have had some amazing comments over the last 2 weeks from people just getting in contact on my Instagram DMs, commenting on the comments to some of these videos. And it really does light me up inside, and it makes me realise that it is so worth continuing doing this and getting this content out to you guys for free, because not everybody has the budget to pay for a wedding planner, and I want to be able to help and teach and educate and give knowledge to every bride out there, because you deserve it, because nobody wants to be navigating this wedding planning path not knowing what they're doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you to you guys, and I will see you next week for some more wedding planning goodness.